cabo.
Siamo ngay tốt lành.
Malin Wanaxan.
Tudo de bom.
Marhaba.
Bienvenidos.
Привет!
Witamy.
Вітаю вас!
Hello everybody, it's a special live show and it was unexpected, so we have a Pianoboy, Dima Shurov is with us straight from Kiev.
Yeah, and I'm from Mykolaiv, right before Kiev. Hello everybody,
Hello.
nice to be here. This is actually maybe maybe first or second time of me coming in person to the radio during war, because since the beginning of the war and even before during the quarantine, things pretty much got into the online regime, and being like this in a studio feels like old school, which is great. I love
vintage,
it.
yeah,
It's a vintage feeling. You pushing all these buttons before we started talking. This is great.
Yeah, and we have you here after amazing concert
Thanks
in NIEBO, and
yeah, it was an emotional one because we had a really we had a pretty unexpected cast on stage, and we've never played in this trio before. We didn't have a single rehearsal. This is the way things happen now often with Ukrainians. We do things that are unexpected and unrehearsed. So today the concert was all about emotions, improvisation, some jokes, some good ones, some bad ones.
I
like it. I think everything that's live and honest 100% works, because concert, I believe that a show is not about an artist playing his music to the public. A show is the energy, the flow of energy, and feeling feeling like you'll never die, like you're touching some interesting energy that doesn't happen every day. So I think today evening it happened, which makes me happy.
And happened with two guys who are basically fighting, yes?
Yeah, two militaries. One of them, Moisei or Moses Bondarenko. So Bondarenko is, according to all analysis, Bondarenko is the most popular last name in Ukraine. So his last name is the most popular in Ukraine, but his name is Moses, which is really rare. And I met him over a year ago in April, in the middle of April, when I was touring for militaries all around the country since the war started. And I came to this hospital in the south of the country where he worked as a medic for rehabilitation of soldiers.
Is this the video that you can see in your channel?
There's one video from that time. We almost never shared at that period of time any videos, because it was prohibited, and we were really afraid not to, undisclose any places where militaries were. But that one was magical, because he came on stage and he said, "Let's play together." And I had cases like that before. We've had some military musicians who came up to play and things, but usually it was something, it was less special. This one was really musical. I felt that he's a really talented musician, and what's in common between us is that we both have no musical education. We don't have any proper education. He was brought up by gypsies, according to himself. I don't know. I didn't track that information, but he says that gypsies told him how to play violin, and I'm pretty much self-taught pianist. Although I play classical music now, I play rock and roll, I play my music, of course, but I never really studied music.
By the way, do you know Staszek Sojka?
No.
Okay.
But I know Hania Rani.
Okay.
Did I pronounce it right?
Maybe.
We can check her on Google. She is really great Polish new school pianist and composer of contemporary classics. I really like her. Hania Rani, exactly. That's her name.
Definitely, we recommend.
Check her out. She's a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful girl too. I mean, when I say beautiful girl playing the piano, I'm finished. So yeah, and the other guy is our guitarist from my band, Sergei Gryzlov, who had a military experience before. in the 15th and 16th year. So the first day of war, he went back to the army, and we pretty much lost him from music, and we didn't see him for 9 months because he was in the hottest spots in the Donbass region, and he was really needed there because he's a good specialist. He's that rare case when a person plays great guitar and really can use a weapon as well, which happens really rarely. But as time passed, I was starting to understand that we have to somehow start getting him out at least every once in a while. So that's what happens now, and we're happy to do that. So today I am between two militaries, and I'm actually almost a military by myself, because from the start of war, we play almost non-stop concerts for militaries all over the country, all kinds of military departments, for medics as well in hospitals. We also play for families that lost their homes in the East, who were moved all around to different new places. Because music, by the way, we played a serious concert at the very beginning in the underground, in the metro, in Kharkiv, Dnipro, where people were hiding from...
Kiev Metro became like a Royal Albert Hall, or
Yeah, but that's a little different, because at the time in Kharkiv at the beginning, which is really at the border, people were really hiding from real serious missile attacks, which actually happen now as well. But at the time, I met people in the underground who haven't been out of underground for months, and I realized that they already have like a certain, their own universe down there. We watched all those movies when we were kids, like Total Recall and stuff like that. And it's science fiction, but it's now true. It's
surrealist became
it's surrealist,
reality.
but it's not fiction anymore. I mean, I was at a school in the underground where on the metro station they put tables, and every day a teacher comes and teaches kids who live there. That's crazy, but that's the reality of the first months in Ukraine. So we did hundreds of concerts like that, and I actually in my military document, which every man in Ukraine has, my specialty is military musician. So that's what I do.
That's unfortunately, I have 3 questions for you, and you basically, just before I ask you, you already answered, because I wanted to ask you about the guys, because they were amazing. That was absolutely...
They're great musicians.
They're great musicians, and it sounded like you were working for years with them, both of them. But the other thing was how the life of a professional, star celebrity musician, well-known in Ukraine, changed. From last,
it changed differently for different people. Some people, different people made different choices, and my life changed completely. I mean, I know people who keep working successfully abroad, and who spend more time now abroad than in Ukraine, because so many Ukrainians left Ukraine, and we don't know if they're coming back or not. That's not clear. I'm sure most of them are not coming back, because Ukrainians are actually really they can work hard, they like to live, they don't like to sit on somebody's neck, really. And I know many people for whom the first months in immigration was really painful, and they were really trying to find themselves in this new world, to learn the language, etc., etc. We have some people in our close circle who have taken serious steps to assimilate, not only, sit outside of Ukraine. But for me, I really felt the first month of war, I thought that music was over for me. And I couldn't listen to music. It was too emotional, because I do music from 4 years old. I pretty much never did anything else. And by the way, if you have a fixed time of the interview, please stop me, because after the concert.
No, I'm just worried about the guys downstairs, but otherwise we are.
It's all right. They're militaries. They're used to these kind of things. I mean, after the concert, you usually get quite relaxed, and you can talk for minutes, because I do have a lot of things to tell. So the first month I thought that music is over, life's changed. Our house is in the north of Kiev, and it was on the brink of occupation and or demolition, or something bad could happen. We were really lucky to keep our home untouched, although it was in 1 kilometer from the place where the Russians were stopped. The house where I have my studio and everything that I work with. It was a bomb shelter in the first weeks of the war. A lot of people hid there because my studio is in the underground, as most musicians have. So while that was happening, I was trying to be useful. I have a cargo van, which I bought right before the quarantine to build a studio on wheels. That was my dream all of my life, to travel around places and record music. Yeah. So it's it's not so much a hippie style of living, more like getting to know how musicians from other places make music and collaborating with them. But that never happened because of the quarantine, because all the borders closed. So I just kept that cargo van, and when the war started, I started to move around the goods, like life vests, or whatever we call it in English, all kinds of ammunition. I took a lot of medicine around the country. So I was doing that and thinking, okay, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm not going to do music. And then a friend of mine called me up and said, do you want to go to militaries and play for them? I said, well, what kind of show can I give now to militaries if I'm on a complete zero emotionally? He said, no, let's try it. So I started doing that. It was hard at the beginning, but then slowly it got me back into performing.
Because that's the spirit.
I really
that's where the energy
I
comes
saw
from.
people who are in a much harder lifestyle, routine and everything. I realized how valuable for them to see people they know, like from television or internet, when they come to them, not only to play, but they breathe the same dust. You know, we communicate, we sleep together, we eat together. It's communication between civilians and militaries. So I think that's really important. That's why I'm doing it, because I see the effect of this for them and for myself. So it's completely changed. Before the war, we played Palace of Sports in Kiev. We played all over the country, festivals abroad and stuff. Now 90% of our shows are charity or shows for militaries, and that's the way it is now.
And you still sing Imagine, and this
I did do Imagine tonight. Yeah,
Ukrainian version of Imagine.
Yeah, it's
That's your words also?
No, it's a translation done by Ukrainian poet Ira Tsilik. A while ago, we did it together with Andriy Hlavnyuk. This version, the vocalist of Boombox, the guy who sang Червона Калина, and it became a worldwide hit, and Pink Floyd did it with him. So everybody now knows Червона Калина, the red Wyatt Burnham, because of him, basically. And we did Imagine for an anniversary of a song a while ago, and we wanted to do it in Ukrainian, but Yoko Ono didn't give her permission. She said, "No, we don't want to change the words and stuff." So we did record Imagine for the project, but in English. It's in YouTube, and. But the translation exists, so every once in a while I perform it because it's good. So today, for some strange reason, we did it again.
That's very crazy, because I'm thinking now about it. Like we ran a festival that I already told you.
You told me you have like a great Woodstock kind of style festival.
And we had a war in Caucasus too, in Armenia-Azerbaijan war. And just before the war, 2019, before pandemic, we have Armenian musicians who were telling Azerbaijani independent TV that look on the song of, the countries that are in war.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand
imagine.
that.
That's the place.
Yeah.
And the guy from the band, one of the bands, he's explaining to the girl from Azeri TV, Armenian musicians, look on the song Imagine by John Lennon.
Mm-hmm.
Every word of this song is about this place.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything, it's like, everything is gone. We are looking on the Facebook of our volunteers, and they take sides. They have to show that they are in one or other plays.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we realize, okay, this is not what we were, trying to construct. We were like having Armenian, Azerbaijani musicians working together on a, this Eurovision musicians playing together. And at the end of the day, we realize we are going to struggle. We are going to go this step, back and start to do it again, not to force Armenian musicians to play with Azerbaijan. That makes no sense. But to give a space where the freedom and respect to human dignity and human life is alive. And the thing is that when the full-scale invasion of Ukraine started, of Russian in Ukraine, we realized, okay, there is no peace without those values, without freedom, without human dignity. And we just said we have to stand with Ukraine. And we managed to bring so many fantastic artists, also from Ukraine, and, architects. We did not just the music, filmmakers. And I think, this is also a very important message that we give, and we hope that you will maybe manage to we know that there is a procedure to go, but we would be very happy to have you, because we have some also other crazy musicians when we always work together before and not jam together, but to do something, together live. But also, I think so. This is also a fight about a future of not only Ukraine, of course, and we realize that here in Poland. That I think this is only thing that united Polish people. Wherever it was the political views and stuff. Of course, there is some people who are more aware of the danger of what Russia can do, but there are some other people who understand there is no, you cannot be pacifist in a time when your home is bombed.
Yeah, when somebody came to your home and destroyed, that raped your relative, your woman. How can you be a pacifist in this?
I would say it in other words: you are pacifist only when you fight.
Yeah,
because there is no the peace is the value. What you can hear in your music, in your concerts, in your response of your audience, of your Ukrainian audience, you can feel that this is not a song of hate, of revenge. It's a song of peace and liberty.
Peace and unity and respect and the right of every person to be himself or herself, and the basic right of every human to live the life that he wants or she wants. Yeah, and when somebody comes to your home and takes it away, you start fighting. I mean, of course, not everyone. I think not everyone understands it deeply. The things we're talking about now, that this is a basic condition of living. But for me personally, freedom is very important. I've made many steps in my life to keep it, and now it's crucial for me to do my best to get it back to Ukraine and get back things to normal. I don't know when it will happen, but getting back to your festival, sign me up, call us, and I'd love to go. I mean, I'm a personal fan of these kind of festivals.
Have you been to Caucasus with music?
Yeah, we've been to Tbilisi, and we've been to a couple of times to Baku with shows. Every time it was really special and sometimes strange. Once we played even a big Azerbaijan wedding.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it was so many different rules and traditions. Before I came on stage, several different people of different, I don't know how to call it, status, I guess, came up to me and said, Dmitro, we would like you to do this or that, say these things, say those things, and it will make our guests real happy if you do that. So I thought, and if I don't do that, I didn't ask what's going to happen to me. So yeah, it's really interesting, and we love to play those kind of places. By the way, I had one of the greatest experiences of my life was in Tbilisi. Apart from the Caucasus kitchen cuisine, which is great, I once gave a birthday present to myself in the previous peaceful times, and I went to the concert of Björk with Georgian Philharmonic Orchestra on my birthday on Halloween. She had a concert. So we went for 2 days with my wife to attend the concert, and I was sitting in the second row because I was afraid to take the first row because I really love her and her energy is really powerful. And it was a catharsis experience for me, that concert. So I'm forever grateful to whoever brought her to Tbilisi on that day.
And were you
So-
performing in Tbilisi? Or you?
Yeah, we did perform in Tbilisi.
Where? In which?
It was some club. I have to
Okay.
look it up. So it was a while ago.
But did you work with a Georgian musician too?
Did I work with Georgian musician? No, I don't think so. I can't recall. No.
Okay, because the
No.
One Caucasus rule is that whoever comes, even I don't know, Bruce Springsteen, need to do at
We
least
sang in
one
the restaurant
song,
with them.
you know,
in the restaurant after
Okay.
several wines,
After the
we
gig.
did sing together, and they sang wonderfully and
Yeah.
perfectly. That I remember. Yeah,
we
and-
like mixing,
And
you know.
I
this-
met Nino Katamadze, and also I've been to her shows a couple of times. We never worked together, but we've met.
So we cannot now to say 100%, but we basically are people who are doing the things. Well, if you are in Georgia in the end of August, because that's our dates, and we know how it works, because even you said it to your audience, you really sometimes don't know what will happen in
Yeah.
you know, what kind of a permission
true.
you will get, or
Yeah.
but however, I think it would be great not only to invite
Let's-
you, but also to the musicians from the army.
Yeah.
And we have this kind of a, you know, situation. We have stories. We have especially people who love freedom and who understand what is the price of freedom. Sometimes you need to pay. And of course, Georgia is in that case a very specific place where there is, you know, all this. Thanks God there is no war, but there is this kind of a polarization where you have people who are so much supporting Ukrainians, who would like to see Georgia and Ukraine in European Union, you know. And I have one more question, just this is also very interesting because there is all this passion to do, and you do your job. Basically, your job is, I would say, what I understood, it's a very military useful job, because what you do is you give energy to the soldiers who are going to have to go to the front line.
Or just came from the front line and have
Need to
to
recover.
get any kind of, you know, getting back to normal, which is really hard to do. We have hundreds of thousands of soldiers who spent months fighting, and now they have to come back to normal life, which is really hard. Yeah, it is. In my opinion,
It's the most rewarding come out. No?
yeah.
You have it. I think in a big celebrity situation, you haven't such a rewarding time that you go and do something that people come to you and you feel that this is something much more than, you know, normal gig when you have a peaceful time. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a different. It is really a really different way of performing, of course. And sometimes you play like in the middle of the forest in some trees. Sometimes you cannot make a lot of sound, and sometimes the way I hit my keys on my keyboard is louder than the sound that I can allow to come out of it. And but yeah, it is hard. I can't say it's easy doing these things, because we're doing like 5-6 spots a day sometimes, and I see all kinds of things, and I can tell lots of stories. Maybe one day I'll write a book about it, because you know it's really different from normal touring, but it is rewarding, and I feel that we are now, as a country and as a nation, we've came to a certain really important point where we have this chance, you know, to break this circle that we're in since the USSR.
Yeah. It's
stopped.
like a last
We've
stage.
been on this strange, you know, circle of repeating things. Like It's a different conversation, but there are a lot of people in Ukraine who really want to, rebuild this and make it livable and really a good place for children, good place for the future at least.
So this is it. This is my question, my last question, which you start already answering it.
I'm answering the questions you didn't ask yet.
Yeah,
that's a good sign. I mean,
the thing is, because there's so much passion and so much energy it takes, and it's clear it gives energy and it takes energy to do this kind of work.
For sure.
But is it there kind of a concern or idea of what Ukraine you are fighting for? Is there also kind of a little bit fear maybe that what will happen after, right? Will it be a free, inclusive? And I said it in a few conferences. We need to see that Ukraine has no choice, cannot lose, and had to become one of the most modern European countries, more modern than the Western countries in a way. Is there, do you have this kind of a feeling, or it's not important now?
Well, first of all, it is very important what you're talking about, and I think it should be talked and thought about way more now than it is in Ukraine, and I think we should really, really come up with plans A, B, C, D, E, F, and all kinds of solutions for all things. But my real fear now is, what if it doesn't end? And I'm not only talking about the war that's happening in Ukraine. I mean, the whole world is actually shifting. You cannot deny that. There is nowhere to run or nowhere to hide. We've just came out of this huge, strange quarantine thing. That's what was it?
It was a trigger for dictators to do the shit that they are doing now.
Yeah, you can look at it in so many ways. And now we have a war, and now we have a unprecedented situation when the whole world, expresses its attitude to it. I mean, the situation with Ukraine united a lot of people. And as you said before this interview, that in Poland, a lot of people woke up and got re-energized and motivated by it. And by the way, talking about the fact that Ukraine hopefully will be a modern and progressive country after we win in this war, Poland is also a very progressive country. I mean, Poland is, what I really like about Poland is there is energy in Poland. You feel it. It's not, it's very different from older Europe. And I think that's what's similar between us. There is a feeling that we have something to give to the world still, that we're not, established yet.
Yes, and we could send a message to all the politicians: don't fuck it up.
Yeah, don't fuck it up, you politicians.
At the same time, it's a message. We have good friends in Africa, in different countries, and in Georgia we work with African educators, not only fantastic musicians, our music director from Senegal for years, but we also have African educators, and they sometimes come. Sometimes we talk about it, and once they knew in one Caucasus a Ukrainian message, they understand. This is the last, maybe, hopefully, decolonization war. And the thing is that, that there is a lot of a message of what Russia tries to now send to the world. No, this is America's empire that they started, NATO started. The Ukrainians are just the puppets in the hands of this. That's not true. The thing is that you listen to what we say. You have to just join it, not by going to war maybe, but to understand this fight is too important for the whole world, and to understand that at the end of the day we cannot give it to someone whose name is not Putin, but who has a Putin in his head. It's like
there are so many Putins in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my guys are waiting downstairs
Yep.
to go have some sleep. So
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to you for more. Maybe we'll do it later again.
Absolutely.
But now, please release
No.
us
It's
to
of
get
course,
some
of course.
sleep. My
No,
friend.
that's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic talk, and we have
Thank
half
you
an
so
hour.
much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And so when you will be like, when you can be heard in Poland, or what is your plan? Just to say in the end, or where you can check if you don't know, because where you'll be heard in next weeks.
I hope we'll come back in autumn. Last year we did a series of shows just on the street to gather some funds, and it was a great experience. It was a little like a peaceful musical demonstration sometimes, because people were really like fired up about what's happening. People love their motherland more when they're abroad. That's always happens like that. But we'd like to maybe repeat that again. And I'd love to go all over Poland sometimes, because now, we do have a lot of similarities. We have similar language. We have similar
Spirit.
We like to live. People who I've met here, they love music. You have all these great jazz musicians. All these movies. But by the way, just to finish on a little personal experience from my life to finish up this interview. I guess the greatest jazz musician that I ever that I first heard saw live in my life was a Polish pianist Władek Pawlak, who came to Vinica. By the way, we have a fire alarm now in Kiev. I have this app. Yeah, it's last days. It's every night, man. It's in May. We haven't slept normally for like 2 weeks. Even in Kiev. Anyways, so I was 12, and I saw for the first time in my life. He came to Vinica, to my native city. This is my manager who says, "Come on, come on." So I saw him live, and that was the moment when I realized that I really want to do music live. I really want to do shows, because I saw a person who was doing fantastic, amazing things, like unearthful things. Like I was literally flying. So thank you very much, Poland, for this experience as well.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Dima Shurov and Pianoboy. And fantastic musicians. Remind the names of the musicians who are performing tonight with you.
Sergei Gryzlov, guitar, and Moses
Starszy
Bondarenko.
Soldat.
Yeah, Starszy Soldat, and Moses Bondarenko, young sergeant, yeah, on violin. So
Thank you so much.
take care. Hope to see you in August.
Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.
IMI Radio.